A very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you into yet another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox, and of course on the Facebook and YouTube channels. We are gearing up for the whiteout game, Goon. Completely moved on and forgotten. I don't even... Not even looking at your face. It's Washington, Washington, Washington. It's
my face is so cold this week.
We will talk a little Ohio State and perspective and all of that here. I do want to let you know I have got to vamoose. I have a meeting at my kiddo's school regarding some programs with him, and
they had 7-year-olds voting. I heard
we need to go over everything at about 3:00. So I'm bolting out of here about 40 minutes in. Landon Tangwall will take my spot, if not right at that moment, very shortly thereafter. And appreciate
he's letting
Landon
that school get in the way
on short notice, being willing and able to pinch hit for us today. Certainly we're talking some Penn State, Ohio State. Buckeyes win at 20-13, of course, 8th straight win for Ohio State in the series, and we will learn the college football playoff rankings, the initial rankings this evening. The big show gets underway at 7:00 on ESPN. I am really interested to see a few things about that, and we'll touch on that here before I head out here this afternoon. But want to start with Penn State, Ohio State. Not a lot that we can say that hasn't already been said. I think we've both been, I know we've both been on the air giving some thoughts already over the last couple of days. A couple of things, just because I do think, James Franklin and Penn State not winning these games, it's fair. I mean, it's accurate. It's what has happened. I do think it is worth pointing out that before the start of the season, the overwhelming, I ran into very few people, like very few, that were like, yeah, I think this is the year Penn State goes undefeated. They're going to go 12-0. The majority of folks I ran into had Penn State at 10-2. Like, yeah, they're going to lose to Ohio State and either USC, Wisconsin, West Virginia, somewhere along the way, they're going to stumble in another one. And then there was a smaller percentage of people that are like, no, I think 11-1. Yeah, who's the loss going to be to? Ohio State. And it got under my skin probably more than I should let it. And I really don't watch Paul Feinbaum much at all. And I actually didn't see it. I just saw the posting of it. But it is hilarious to me. Paul Feinbaum last week, going into the Penn State-Ohio State game, said, listen, make no mistake, Ohio State has the most talented roster in all of college football. More talented than Georgia, more talented than Oregon, more talented than anybody out there. And yes, the pressure is on Ryan Day. I don't know if he needs to win. This is Feinbaum talking. Don't know if he needs to win the national title, but they've got to get there. They've got to be in that title game. Well, then he turns around and he's advocating for the firing of James Franklin because they lose by a touchdown to the team that you just said had to win this game and is the most talented in all of college football. But because James Franklin didn't win that game, now they've got to get rid of him. And he also said, it's too bad that the players, that Penn State has a good team, and it's too bad they're being let down by their head coach. So I'm not even necessarily wanting to get into whether it's the players or the coach's fault, whatever. But I will tell you, Goon, the reason for my optimism going into this game, and truthfully, no Penn State fan should be optimistic going into an Ohio State game. How many times do you need to learn that lesson before? Well, apparently at least one more in my case.
Fell for it again.
So, but part of my optimism, a big part of my optimism, it was twofold. One was, and leading into the game, if you watched the shows last week, I'm like, man, I think Penn State physically now can match up at the line of scrimmage with some of the problems that Ohio State has, reshuffling its offensive line. I think Penn State's defensive line might even have a slight advantage. And I think the other way, Penn State, it's kind of a push. In my mind, going into the game, Penn State's O-line against Ohio State's D-line. And the other reason I felt good about it was the elite coaching that I think Penn State has across the board, but in particular with the coordinators. Now, two things about it. I don't think we talked specifically about it, but if pressed last week, I would have acknowledged, listen, Ohio State also has elite coordinators. Make no mistake, Jim Knowles is an outstanding defensive coordinator, and Chip Kelly is one of the great offensive minds in all of football, not just college football. Like that guy knows offensive schemes. And the 2 touchdown passes were brilliant designs by Chip Kelly and by the Ohio State staff, and they were very well executed by the Buckeyes. So 2 things. I think I still think Penn State has elite coaches, but where you want the elite coaching to show up is in the big moments. And with 4 shots inside the 5-yard line, and you have this mad scientist, and you run the running back up the middle 3 times, and then you do a pass to your number 2 tight end, who is extremely well covered, it is a little disconcerting. Don't think anybody should be fired. But man, it's like, geez, that was the moment where you're looking for the Ty Warren stuff. And I have friends that's, man, Penn State there's too much with the trick stuff. And then they turn around, why didn't we run Tyler Warren or Poperville at the goal line? It's like, well, okay, but you just got done telling me that there's too much of that stuff. I don't have any problem with all of the trick plays and stuff that they've run. Zero problem. This is just me. We're all entitled to our opinion. But I do question the play calling, and I'm not I really very rarely question play calls because you don't know what they are seeing in practice. You don't know what they've schemed up. You don't know what they're seeing in the game. I mean, generally speaking, they obviously have a lot more knowledge about, hey, this is what we're looking for than I ever will. But you cannot help but scratch your head at Tyler Warren, who just had the 20, whatever it was, 2-yard run to get you down inside the 5. I don't think there's much of an argument that he is your best player. Penn State had a big cardboard piece of paper, but I mean, it was fancy, heavy paper going through all of the accolades of Tyler Warren, heralding him as the greatest tight end in college football, and going through you have that. We've seen him at quarterback. We've seen him at running back. Why is he not getting a touch down there? Like, that just seemed bizarre to me.
And then the O-lineman in motion, 4 straight plays. He blocked nobody.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see if we're going to try and kick somebody out and run behind him, but they weren't doing anything. He wasn't doing anything but bringing another person into the box. I mean, after twice of seeing that, like, hey, let's try something else here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, and then, but so
a little outsmarting ourselves, I think.
All of that stuff was disappointing. But also, I will turn around and tell you that if you can't get, I don't care who you're playing. If your aspiration is to be a national championship team or even, one of the Final 4 standing, no matter who you're playing, I would argue 4 yards, 4 plays, you got to find a way to get that. I don't care what the play calls are. I don't care who's being called to do what. It's 4 yards. Go get the 4 yards. Like, that is on the players. And that's why, and I think
Ohio
James Franklin
State wanted that game, man.
I think James Franklin has taken the right approach in terms of, hey, it starts with me. It's all of us looking at it. And I agree. I think there's blame to go around here. But you turn around then, and James Franklin has addressed this as well. You turn around, and you still had 5 minutes and 13 seconds left. That is a lot of time in a college football game. If you get the safety, which is what Franklin was looking for, obviously that's a game changer, and really gives you a wave of momentum trying to close the thing out and win it. But even if you just get, and just in quotation marks, a 3 and out there, you're going to get the ball back around midfield with 3 minutes-ish left. Well, that is, man, sign me up for that. But when push came to shove, it was Ohio State doing the pushing and shoving, and Penn State yielded.
That's what hurt.
And yes, and it is, I mean, it is literally a gut punch when any team can just, hey, we're running the ball here. We're just going to try to run out the clock. And your team says, okay, and boom, 6 yards. Boom, 5 more yards, 6 more. Holy cow. Like, guys, like, you've got to figure out a way to stop a team that is running the ball. You know they're running the ball, and to give up those gouging yards. So, yeah, to me, this loss was on the offense, was on the defense, was on the coaches, the whole bit. Now, we said going into the game, Goon, in some ways, not only is it not the end of the world, it could be a blessing in disguise if you lose this game, because it does set up the opportunity for Penn State to host a playoff game.
Yes.
Now,
nothing has changed.
The way that happens is this team has to close out with 4 strong performances.
Correct.
And really, if we're being honest, it is almost impossible to see how Penn State would lose at Purdue or at home to Maryland. It's college football. Crazy things happen. I'm not saying there's no chance, but my God, that is the sky is falling. This Washington game is worrisome to me, mostly because I don't know how this team is going to react, and I don't know how the fans are going to react. I think there's going to be a ton of juice, and it'll be the normal whiteout energy, and I think this team will feed off of it, and I think this team has the maturity, and I think this, and I think that, and then we got to see it. We got to see how this plays out on Saturday night, because this is a good, not a great Washington team, but it's an improving Washington team, and if you give this team, with that coaching staff, the opportunity to hang around, I don't rule anything out in the second half here. This is a game where Penn State does need to come out with the energy, play to its potential, and put this thing away before Washington has a chance to really believe that it belongs on the field for all 4 quarters and can actually pull this thing out. And then you have the game in 2 weeks here at Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Minnesota's playing better, and I look at that game much the way I look at the Wisconsin game. Like, it's an improving team. It is not one of the great teams in college football, and if Penn State goes out and plays its game, it should take care of business. It will take care of business. But that is the unknown right now. And listen, we've seen lots of teams stumble in games that you're like scratching your head. I mean, most notably now Notre Dame and Northern Illinois, but you have all kinds of games. And listen, we said after USC lost to Penn State, this thing could kind of go either way. They could rally the troops and really come on. Well, now they've switched quarterbacks. They are in a spiral, and they might not get to 500 on the season. Michigan might be a 500 team, by the way, this season. So
hurt you.
I understand the frustration of Penn State fans, just like everybody does, including James Franklin. But I also do think a little perspective that the potential is still there for a national title at the end.
I understand the fans' reactions.
Absolutely.
I mean, I do not. We all felt the same damn way, but when you wake up on Sunday morning, and when I did my show in Landon on Sunday, I said, "Hey, man, the sun's shining. The sun rose today. We still have a national title in our grasp because there's a playoff. This isn't back in the day when you lose a game and you're out. They have everything is still attainable. They just can't win a Big Ten title. Oh well, but guess what? You don't remember a Big Ten title if you win a national freaking title." That's how I'm feeling about this one.
Yep. Man. Talk to the Penn State wrestling team about that.
Right? Yeah. They're like, oh, well, we won a Big Ten title. It doesn't matter. We won a national title. That's how I feel.
Yep.
And there are goals, and then the goal is go undefeated, win the Big Ten,
yep.
Go through this and that. But you know what? I mean, you know as well as I do, we talked off air last week. It was probably better to lose that game. We did not want to lose that game. I do not want to lose. You want to win them all, but if you did lose that game, you win your next 4, they're not going to keep us out of the playoffs. I don't care if we don't have a marquee victory or not. We have one loss in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And that was a 7-point loss to which will be the number 1 team in the country eventually. I mean, let's not forget about this. That was the number 1 team in the country until 2 weeks ago when he lost to Oregon. And we matched up and had the game. We did not finish that game.
Yeah, I mean, I think
hang
they're
your
the best,
hat, man.
The most talented team in the country. They've not been ranked number 1, and they're not favored to win the national title, at least as we say.
They weren't one when
now.
They played Oregon,
but no, Georgia had pulled in there before, and then Georgia lost to Alabama. Ohio State has not been number 1.
I thought that before Georgia lost to Texas, they beat Texas. They jumped everybody.
No, Texas
was one. Texas was one.
Georgia beat them.
That's right, and then they lost to Georgia.
Yeah, Ohio State, even though I think they're the most talented team in the country, they've not been ranked number 1 at any point.
If we just get past we wanted to win this game, I get it. I understand it completely. Everything is still there. And I don't want to be that guy like, oh, well, he's always like, I'm always the fresh guy. Oh, we're going to be all right. We are all right.
Yeah.
We just went toe-to-toe with probably a top 2 team in the country. Just went toe-to-toe with them. Our fans are frustrated. I get that. I mean, you were frustrated. I'm frustrated.
Oh, no question.
Coaches are frustrated. Everybody's upset. We get it. But now it's time to move on and get to that point where, I mean, it just hurt me in my soul a little bit because it's like Ohio State back was against the wall. Their backs were against the wall, and they came out swinging, and we took a couple shots, and we backed away.
And to me, what made it, I think, a more crushing loss, and I have to think in that locker room it was the same feeling, is what you want to hang your hat on with any program, but certainly in the Big Ten, is, man, we are tough. Like, we want to be the team. And when Penn State, again, needed a yard, it couldn't get it. When they needed to hold the other team to just 9 yards, they couldn't. I mean, they were giving up 6-yard chunks on plays where it's like, all right, you can't give up more than 1 or 2 here. And that is like, that really does, that is soul crushing. When a team can line up with a chance to run the clock out and say, hey, we're running the ball and we know you can't stop us. For the team that can't stop, that is soul crushing. And I think that is that added to the frustration is you thought going into that game that Penn State would match up well, certainly against that offensive line. And that offensive line, when it needed to, just bowed up and said, nope, we will dominate you. Not just, I mean, dominate. Penn State was getting shoved all over the place. Linebackers, defensive linemen, 5 yards down the field. Penn State, again, when it needed a couple of yards, no movement. None up front.
Now we have.
So yes,
I was just frustrated watching an offensive lineman in the backfield. If you're not going to use him, if he's a, we're faking a play off him, but they did nothing with it. It was just having that, like, I don't understand. If they were trying to fool them by doing something, they didn't fool anybody.
Yeah.
And it seemed like maybe we tried to get too tricky on the goal line, but then if you watch, their D lineman is in our backfield. I mean, they look like an offensive line performance from about 10 years ago when we couldn't block a soul for Saquon Barkley. And that's exactly what it looked. They took that offensive line and they moved them back a yard, and then we had to take their defensive line and move them back a yard. It didn't happen. Yeah. That game was definitely one up front. We matched up everywhere with them.
Yep.
But,
well,
we have at Penn State, we've had much worse goal line stands. I mean, I was involved with one against Michigan in '93. That one still hurts to this day. This one really hurt, but there were 7 plays inside that 5-yard line, and we did not score a touchdown. Not a point, excuse me, not even a point.
Yeah.
2-0.
Yeah.
That can't happen.
Yeah, and a couple of things on that real quickly here, and then on the terrific interception, and it was a sensational interception at the end of the second quarter for Ohio State. Also, though, this is where, when you say Penn State matched up everywhere, they didn't. In the passing game. Penn State's receivers against that secondary was a mismatch on Saturday. I'm not saying if they play again. I know Penn State fans are virtually apoplectic at the thought, but if they do play again, maybe it plays out differently.
I would love to play them again, like we talked about in wrestling. It's like it's tough to beat somebody.
Yeah, but Penn State's receivers did not get the job done against that secondary. And even on that play, again, it was a terrific interception.
I
but
don't think it was an interception, personally.
It was. Yeah, actually. So we'll get into that in a moment. All of the calls, I actually think the officials got, they were bang plays. I think they got every play right, every single one of them, with the way the rules are written. And I know the taunting call is the one that was driving Steve Jones and Jack
It was a taunt.
Crazy. And they're like, it absolutely was not. And I'm watching, I'm like, well,
that was a taunt.
I hate to tell you, you can't step over the player. Nope. Like the rule is written that you cannot step over the player. Well, he clearly steps over and he's looking down. Now, whether or not there was any intent, anything said, I don't know. But I mean, it is by the letter of the rule, regardless of anything else, it was properly called. I think it was an interception. I think the fumble was, in fact, an incomplete pass as they ultimately rolled. He never had control of it. Like I wanted him to. He never had control of it. He just didn't. My opinion, everybody's obviously entitled to theirs. I think the officials got it right every time. And the frustrating thing was a lot of those calls, bang, could go almost either way, all seemed to go against Penn State except for the fumble at the end zone, which obviously went Penn State's way. But I think the officials got it right on every single one of those calls eventually. Like I think that the call that stood in every one of those situations was the right call ultimately. But the other thing besides Penn State getting pushed around when it was crunch time is Ohio State was the more disciplined team. And that doesn't mean Penn State was undisciplined and, man, it was just 4 quarters. But there were breakdowns in the secondary. Well, that's discipline. That's either knowing your assignment, sticking with it, whatever. But where Ohio State clearly had advantages, and I didn't think they had an advantage at the line until the last 2 drives. Penn State's last drive, and again, it needed just a couple of yards, couldn't get it. That's Ohio State's line saying, nope, we're not letting you have it. And then obviously in Ohio State's last drive, as we talked about. But Penn State's receivers against their secondary, Penn State could not get separation, could not make the big plays. If Wallace just makes the catch there on the interception, he doesn't have a chance. The reason he had a chance to make that great interception is Wallace doesn't bring it in. If he brings it in, it's a touchdown. And it's there. All he has to do is, yes, easier said than done. I mean, but honest to God, like he just needs to pull it into his body. Boom, touchdown. Doesn't matter. There's no chance because he pops it up, doesn't control it. Now you give the opportunity for the great interception to be made. But the other thing was the discipline. Ohio State, with that crowd and all of the noise, record crowd, offensive line shifting around, nothing. No pre-snap penalties. Remarkable. Penn State, for all of the complaining on the taunting, guess what? Penn State they should have been out of there on a 3-and-out before that play ever occurred, except Abdul Carter isn't disciplined. And they have a 3rd and whatever it was, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. So, man, you stop them here, 3-and-out. Here we go. Nope, we'll give them a free first down. and then you give them another free first down. And well, that's undisciplined football. That is the difference. Now, were they undisciplined all day? No, but they could have had another couple of big passes completed. Will Howard missed a couple of wide open receivers, and I mean like crazy. That's breakdowns. That's breakdowns by Penn State, whether it's communication but I mean, big, major breakdowns in the secondary. Again, giving the 5 yards here, giving the 15 yards here in third down situations. That's a crusher. So what do you do now? You go back, you work on, we got to be disciplined. The difference here is those 5 or 6 plays where Penn State didn't have its focus, wasn't dialed in, and Ohio State was. And then you've got to work. While I am a huge advocate of getting Tyler Warren the ball down there and, taking your shot there, I will also say you have Katron Allen, you have Nicholas Singleton, you have an offensive line that we were touting as the most physical in the James Franklin era. For God's sake, open a hole big enough to get a couple of yards. Like, this is want to. This is, man, it doesn't matter what Ohio State does. It doesn't matter how good they are. We want this. Nope, Ohio State wanted it more on Saturday. So I do think there's got to be some internal, man, we've got to get under our pads under. You've got to understand the situation, and there's got to be just a level of determination. Sometimes it is just that. There's other things that factor into it for sure, but sometimes it's like, nope, man, I'm just going to go get this no matter what. And Penn State didn't have that when they needed it. Ohio State had it in spades on Saturday.
And that hurt.
It's soul-crushing. It really
needed that game, but again, looking at it from the outside, we can sit there and make all these excuses and say, well, it's okay, everything's still, and it is. Yes. But again, it is just very, very, very frustrating. One is how our kids played on the field. It's almost like we got out tough, and I just despise that. I truly, truly despise. I mean, I don't mind getting outmanned, and if they have that team, but they out toughed us. They outwanted that game more than us, and it showed when we needed to make a play we could not, and when they needed to, they did every time. That's the frustrating part for everybody. Now, when everything is said and done, we move on. It is time. It is move on, but it's just tough, and it's just frustrating. And we're still talking about it. I'm still a little bit crushed, and it's Tuesday afternoon. Yep. I hope that our guys have the one to know mentality I get. Especially in losses, it's like you can't keep harping on that. But you know what? It's not okay to lose. You still got to go back and say, you know what? Why did we freaking lose that game? We had that game. The game was ours to lose, and we lost it. And we got to we better be ready to go Saturday, or it's going to be ugly, because those fans, our fans, are frustrated, and there will be boo birds out if the first 3 and out if we go out there on Saturday and lay it again in that whiteout. Yep,
and with the money involved now in college athletics, it does change the equation.
I'm so freaking sick of it. Give more money. I get it. I understand it. But it's like, that's not the excuse. That is because they have richer pockets, that makes them tougher than us. And that's what it was. It was not the money. It was toughness that won and lost that game.
Yes. Ultimately, I think that's the case. And listen, I do think, again, the both of the touchdown passes, again, they fooled Penn State. Yeah. I mean, that wasn't necessarily out tough. Now they had to give protection to allow Howard to have the time. I'm speaking as an offense. No. I'm saying in crunch time, I agree with you. Like, when the game was on the line, there's no question Ohio State out toughed Penn State. So the 2 touchdown passes, though, I think was more about scheme. Mm-hmm. And, sometimes you just tip your cap. And again, I'm speaking just for me. Like, I don't want to see Penn State get out schemed either, but it's like, okay, man, that was good. They fooled Penn State. That was, at least to me, much easier to digest. Even, I mean, it resulted in 2 touchdowns. I get it. That was much easier to take to me because it's, all right, man, that was a really well designed play. They executed it well. And yep, you fooled us. Our secondary didn't stay with the guys on the backside the way they need to. That, to me, much easier to take than, again, that last drive was just gut-wrenching to watch because everybody in the building knows here comes the run. And Penn State knows here comes the run. And boom, again, it wasn't that they were just grinding out 3-4 yard tough runs. That's tough enough. It was 6, 8, 5, 7, 6. Man, that is crushing. So, yes, what does Penn State do from here? You work on the toughness element. I do think in practice, it's like, man, every day, like how much do you want it when you get into the – if you are given that moment
still
again,
there.
Yes. Are you going to – and listen, that starts with – and Washington isn't the same up front, obviously. As Ohio State is, but that's where you start is, hey, we are going to bully these last 4 opponents. We certainly should be better up front. Yeah, I'm saying this is as a coach talking to these Penn State players. We better reestablish how tough we are by absolutely punishing Washington here on Saturday night, punishing Purdue when we go to West Lafayette. Absolutely punishing Minnesota when we get the opportunity out there at Maryland, and try to reestablish the confidence that comes with that toughness. Now, you're not going to be able to replicate it either in practice or in any of these final 4 games.
It's not. It's a
but
one.
You're trying to get the opportunity to get there again.
I got you. It's a one thing, and it's there for you to take it.
Yep.
And if we don't get there, then it's I consider this a horribly unsuccessful season. If we don't get to the playoff right now, because it is still there. I mean, you could say Ohio State was a national championship or bust. We are playoff or bust. Okay, I mean, we want the playoff. Okay, and then just roll our hats out there and see what's going to just roll our lids out there and see what's going to happen.
Yeah,
that's all I want. I mean, that's a successful season to me, and it is still there. And it's up to our kids, and it's just I go back to the Rose Bowl team a couple of years ago. They were very well led from inside. They're on their in the locker room, and this team, from what I'm seeing and hearing, is very well led from the locker room.
Yeah, and
everything is still there, and we need to just put it together. Go out there. I mean, yes, everybody wanted to beat Ohio State. I get it. They get it. You and I get it. It is what it is. That's behind us. It's time to move on. You got to learn from your mistakes. Don't let, like I've always told you about offensive line play, football in general, got to have a short memory. You get beat on a play by a defensive end, he gets a sack, and you go to that line of scrimmage next play, and you still have that in your head, you're done. You're going to give up another one. You can't let one turn into 2. And that's very easily could happen in the situation if we don't put this behind us and, correct our mistakes and go out there, be well led and by our guys and say, you know what, I'm not going to let us lose this game. There's got to be 5 guys in that locker room saying we're not going to lose this game. And there's 105 guys who better be chasing them. 100 guys better be chasing them down and helping them out get to that point.
Yeah, there were just so many missed opportunities on Saturday night, and the focus has to be just on cashing in on those opportunities moving forward. And yeah, listen, this team has to recognize, and I do think it should help, right, that they'll have the whiteout crowd here Saturday night. I think that the night game,
they'll be jazzed, but they will turn on them though.
Atmosphere, yep, so you've got to feed off of it from the outset, right? Like you've got to come out and put together a good drive. It would help a lot if you would cash in on that first drive and get to pay dirt, not settle for a field goal. And then, yes, come out and let the crowd really celebrate your defense by getting off to a good start. 3 and out obviously would be ideal.
You know what I'm saying though with our fans though, they're very frustrated, and I can definitely see it, that game 7 attitude with baseball and hockey. Like, hey, and you got to look at how people are looking at these players now. They are looking them at as they are professional players right now.
And basically they are.
They are. I mean, these guys, and I was a little upset Saturday afternoon after the game when some of our guys were walking off the field during the alma mater because they were getting booed at and didn't like it. But, dude, you can't have the good. You can't accept all the good without the bad. I'm sorry. You know, I mean, people are frustrated. We know you're just as frustrated as everybody else, but the fans are frustrated, and that's how they vent their frustration. You can't let it's like water on a duck. It's going to hit you and roll off.
Yeah,
Coach going at it with a fan, bad look. I don't care what the hell that fan said. He should not be saying anything. He should not be confronting that player. The Kelsey thing before the game drives me crazy because who the hell does that kid think he is, saying whatever he wants to somebody and then not get any, and then cry and complain. I still want to know who the kid is.
Yeah.
Where he's from. Why was he here? Was he a student? And if he's a student, he needs to be held accountable also.
While I would agree with you that I think Franklin's much better off there to just walk away, pretend like he didn't hear it. But I do question the entitlement that I think fans now and people in general in society
think they can say whatever the hell they want.
Yes, to anybody about anything. Yeah. Whether it's political opinions, whether it's if somebody has a yard sign. I mean, I haven't seen it personally. You see some of these viral videos where it's like, how can you support that person and this and that? Just again, I understand as you do the fans being frustrated. Yep. And if you want to boo, that to me is perfectly within your rights. But when you start yelling specific things at a coach or a player, to me, I understand you're within your rights. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, that you need to be removed from the stadium or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, from a decorum standpoint, like, hold yourself more accountable. To me, like, what are you expecting the good to be from you saying, hey, Franklin, I think you should be fired?
So he comes whatever, in the crowd and punches you, and now all of a sudden you're suing him for $100 million.
Even if he just walks away, it's like, what is it? You get to go home then and tell I told Franklin to his face he should be fired. Well, okay, congratulations.
Generation of kids have never been smacked.
It's just, it is a weird, to me, it is very weird. And again, I get frustrated and I, the booing or the expressing
frustration.
Yes, displeasure with a performance. That's fine. It's just the calling out individually. And again, if you're doing it in a fun way, there's, there are ways to do that. And like baseball games in particular, see fans get on outfielders. And I did see a good one too with Aaron Judge is being asked now to go to New York City on New Year's Eve because they know he'll be able to drop the ball.
Oh. Oh my!
So they're getting it elsewhere as well. But
oh my!
So, anyways, that's going to take care of my portion of the show today. Landon Tengwall will be here at some point, probably within the next 20 minutes.
Garth Algar will take over till then.
The Dear Goon, clean shaven Dear Goon. Oh, we hate to see that. We'll be back here in just a few minutes as he will continue the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show right here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if if you love rings and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates, Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
WFXS, hunting gas.
Your sports radio! Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
We got the Goon and Dr. Byers hour here right now. So before I go Garth Algar and have to go all alone here, I recruited the general manager of Quaker Steak and Lube here. Season ticket holder, how many years?
I got tickets in 2008 and been pretty much every home game since 2005.
And why did you miss a home game?
I missed a few. There was a funeral in 2011.
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
Keep
Some
going.
work-related issues.
I mean, hell, you drove? Didn't you fly home from Phoenix?
Yes, I did earlier this year. That was the home opener. Had that not been the home opener, I probably would have stayed.
Was it a wedding in Phoenix?
Yes. Flew out of there at 11. Full O.J. Simpson sprint across the Charlotte
in a
airport.
Tuxedo, probably covered in
shirt and tie.
Yep.
Yeah, still smelling of a wedding. A nice way to phrase that.
It's easy.
Sprinted across the
Good
Charlotte.
way.
Yeah, good celebration. Did have to almost ran one person over on the moving escalator to catch my flight. And I guess I should use a different verb than O.J. Simpson. But, the old Hertz commercial, for anyone who remembers that, was O.J. running across the airport.
Correct.
To catch his rental car. But I full sprint across the Charlotte airport, barely made my connection and got to the Steelers home opener this year at tailgate in the parking lot just past 10. We normally start about 8. So I was 2 hours late for the start of my tailgate.
You missed our exquisite tailgate this past weekend.
Yes.
So let me explain this scenario here.
I wish I could.
So we get up, my house. I got probably 18 people at my house, coming to this tailgate. Rich Whitmer, who's going through some cancer issues right now, good friend of ours, he's out in the parking lot. He's there at 5:45 in the morning because we're getting in a tailgate van at 6:15, 6:30. So I got some Navy SEAL guys driving in. Some are in my basement. Some are outside in the parking lot. Joe and Bob, my tailgate guys. A lot of members of my family, my wife, her friends. I mean, it was a fiasco. 4-car caravan going down. I'm not going to lie to you, Powers. We got there at 6:40 in the morning, parked our car, and it was about a level 800 decibel. We, obviously we parked right next to game day. That's where my spot was. So people who were walking through that it looked like a toolbox, the Home Depot toolbox, and all the guys to go in and take pictures. But the smoke was coming out of it and all. So it's 6:40 in the morning, and there's 3,000 to 5,000 people between the Fox set and then the game day set, and all the people who were like, all right, we got to get to this game early. And, I've watched many sunrises for noon games over there, and I could not believe the amount of excitement and the amount of activity going on that early in the morning. And it was complete mayhem. Did not see anything. I'm telling you, you are a grill guy at your tailgates. Well, we're going to get into I want to get into some of your exquisite stuff that you've done in the past because you tell me these things and I laugh. But so I start cooking. I got my grill probably going at like 7:03, 7:04 on Saturday. Everything set up, get the thing warmed up, put my game day bacon on. I had 6 pounds of bacon. I had 50 hash browns. I had 6 pounds of pork roll.
6 pounds of pork
6 pounds. I had about 40 individual sausage patties, scrapple, hot dogs, Greek sausage, blueberry maple breakfast sausages. I had pulled chicken that we had from a couple tailgates before that I had frozen off the bone, cut it off, made this beautiful thing, put a couple different Memphis sauces on there. Had a Texas sauce and another one of them. I had 6 pounds of that pulled chicken. 10 pounds of Greek sausage. I did not stop cooking from 7:01 until about 11:45.
I'm familiar.
And I am not lying to you. I did not. I mean, it was have a few beers. I mean, everything. We had our regular, we doubled up the moonshine amount this week, Powers.
Yes.
4 bottles.
It's necessary for a big game.
Gone by 11 a.m.
Yeah, by 11 a.m.
Literally gone by 11 a.m.
Got it.
Unloading, packing the car and all this and all that. But the crowd's going absolutely nuts at game day, Fox.
How much scrapple again?
2 pounds, two tins.
Scrapple is one of those things. Growing up in Pittsburgh, never heard of it, didn't know what it was. Came up here. That's a delicious secret from the eastern half of PA. You guys,
we get it. We get it made around here fresh.
Oh, it's
good. Actually in Ohio. You just got to look for the German farm areas. Okay. So it's definitely an eastern PA thing.
Oh, it's so good. First time one of my fraternity brothers shared that with me as a freshman up here in '92, and pulled it out. What on earth is that?
We do the Taylor ham. We call it pork roll at home. That's our other delicacy that we bought up into this area. Yeah, not everybody's on that as much as the pork roll. The pork roll is not as heavy a hit as the scrapple.
Yeah, I love them both.
See, some people like Joe hates pork roll because it's too salty.
It is pretty salty.
So it's a salted meat, dude. It's a cured meat. Yes. What do you expect?
It's a great next morning after.
If you're willing you're going to have a couple of those sandwiches, you're going to have 70 to 95 pairs. That's just on average. So the scrapple we get made here locally. Usually it's that time of year when the piggies are going to get slaughtered this fall, and they're going to start making fresh scrapple for us. So, all right, here's my thing. I grew up scrapple guy at home, right?
Yeah.
I hated it, despised it. My mother made a horrible scrapple. It was all in the prep. She made, she was cooking for 8 kids, a husband, and her. There's 10 people at the house. So, and it's just about.
Some of those kids are
mass amount. Yeah, we're all XLs.
XLs. Yeah.
Some of us are 3 or 4. Some of us are 2s. But she would make quantity over quality, so she would throw it in the pan. And I'm sorry, but a griddle is perfect for making scrapple.
Oh yes,
perfect.
Yeah.
So you have the bacon grease down there. You don't have to put any butter down, nothing. Just lay it in there, and it's all about being crisp on the outside and then very moist in the middle. And we've gotten that with the griddle. It's a nice thing.
I have not done a breakfast tailgate this year. I might for the next. We had 2 home games. Yeah, well, we had 3 primetime games in a row, so it's all good.
Hey, you give it to New York Jets, bro.
Entrees, yeah, Jets, Giants, and Cowboys. We had 3 primetime games, so I didn't make any breakfast food yet this year. But we got
going down to Philly this year?
We'll see what got to run the restaurant, so we'll see how
December 15th.
December 15th. If I can get away from the store, I will. But we got to run the business first. So if I can get away, I will. But I'd really like to go to that game. I've been down there twice. Not just saying for Steelers-Eagles games, and Eagles fans have a bad reputation. I'm not just saying this. I'm sitting next to you. Yep. The 2 times I've been there, all the Eagles fans have been absolutely great. The Eagles,
were you wearing Steeler gear?
Yeah, full Steeler gear. The Eagles won both games. Both games were pretty much over by the end of the first quarter.
That was the Wentz game whenever it was like, oh, my God, this guy's unbelievable.
He was great, and we were at a game after I saw Tebow play in Knoxville 2008. Yeah, it was 2008. So Tebow played at Tennessee, and then I drove after the Tennessee game, just went straight to Philly, and the Eagles sacked Roethlisberger, I want to say 10 times that game. I don't remember the score.
They defended some honor of women.
It was, pardon me?
The Eagles were defending women's honors.
At that point, yes. 2000,
they were defending women's honors.
They just, that game was over early. So everyone was super nice to me.
Right, so, we talk about the Lube here. You have the best wings in town. I got my did the player show last night. Nolan Rucci's asking me who does the best wings in town. And I say it's you guys.
Yeah.
Because it is the variety.
Yeah, I'm proud of what we do here.
Absolutely.
It's a great product.
I'm upset about one thing.
Definitely the best.
You know what I'm upset about last week?
Oh, yes, I did not get around to that. Normally during that game week, I try to I remove the Buckeye barbecue sauce from the menu and rename it Beaver Stadium Barbecue for that week.
There's usually a sign on the door.
Yes.
So, I have Ohio State fans who come out with me on Friday, and every one of them ran over to me and says, look, what's this sauce called?
Yes. So I deserve some of the blame for the loss on
Saturday.
I apologize.
A little bit.
Not
all of it. Not all of it. A little bit of it.
Just like Franklin at a press conference, that's on me. I apologize.
You got to do what you got to do, bud.
Yes.
So give me your most exquisite tailgate.
My most exquisite tailgate? Well,
I've heard lobster tails.
Yeah, we did
have been thrown one time.
Last game. Yeah, we did fillet and lobster tails. But I did the seafood boil last time. Crab, I had 5 pounds of crab legs, a couple of lobsters, a bunch of sausage. Standard seafood boil. Christmas this year, I'll do prime rib on a rotisserie. We have a game. We host the Chiefs on Christmas Day at 1:00. So got to make something nice for Christmas Day. So I got a rotisserie spit. I'll get a prime rib roast and do that on the spit on Christmas Day. Not expecting a lot of people at that tailgate. Most people will spend Christmas with their family, but I was spending it with my parking lot family.
How do you get the rotisserie?
Do
you have one on a grill?
No, I bought one separately, and then I used a charcoal grill and put the rotisserie over the top of the charcoal grill.
So you're allowed to use charcoal down in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All the time. Yes. Not all the time, because I want to put it in my car, pot grill in my car, and come back after the game in my car as a flame.
I was at the game. I believe it was at the game when all the cars went up on fire back in the 80s. Over in State College, why we can't use open flame here now in Penn State because all the cars are beautiful.
I'd like to have seen that from the top of Beaver Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Looking down.
That's my second favorite story from watching from a media room. My other one is watching Lee Corso's car get struck by lightning down at Virginia Tech about 20 years ago.
I forgot about that. I heard
absolutely hilarious.
That was funny.
Powers, how is business? Everything going well here?
Lube's having a great year. I just thank everyone in the community for supporting us. Staff, I'm very lucky here. We have great staff, great managers, great servers, great people that work here. So things have been going very well for us. Won an award this year. One of the
Did you?
Yeah, of all the 38 Quaker Steak and Lubes, we had the highest increase in guests. This is 2 years running now. So things are going the right way for us coming out of COVID, which is that was a fun time for everyone. Let's never ever revisit that again. And
try to put us down, bub.
I'll be out with our friends at this restaurant or any other restaurant. But,
so highlight obviously is Tuesday night buffet. So I'm telling Nolan Rucci last night. Nolan was on our player show. His father was an old roommate of mine back in the day. He was I played 2 years with his father, so I know him and his mom very well. So
is that who was on last night? It was
Nolan Rucci.
Okay,
yeah,
right,
yeah. His father was one of my Svengalis here, one of my leaders and stuff like that.
I had a great time at the show last night, by the way. Quick plug for that Monday night show at the Penn State golf courses. I enjoyed it very much. That was a lot of fun last night.
It is fun. Al Palomalo was on as our letterman last night, and Al just telling some stories. So Al is a West Coast guy, went to modern day high school, and just telling stories of how the hell he got to Penn State.
Ended up in the mountains of Central PA.
And he said he came here on his official visit. He landed in Pittsburgh, and he was like, then he got on the puddle jumper. He's like, okay, I can deal with this. It's not that bad. Got on the puddle jumper, flew into State College, And he said he touched the window and they had to actually take him off the plane because he didn't want to come off the plane. He's wearing shorts. He may have been wearing a lava.
Yes.
He is a full-blown Samoan. He's actually Samoan royalty is what he told us last night. He's the youngest of 11 children.
Yes. Yeah, talk about your family going through a lot of food. Family Samoans.
Yeah, so he was telling us all kinds of stories about, how everything is, you only have one thing when you're from Samoa. And that's your name. You don't disrespect it or get it disrespected. And very, very interesting culture, man.
Yes.
And listening to him saying, he said, why did he come here? And he goes, because my uncle said you're going to go play football at Penn State because it's linebacker you. So he says, you're going there. Mm-hmm. So he goes, when one of your elders tells you to do something, you do it. So he goes, I came to Penn State.
Came to Penn State to play linebacker.
And he played nose guard at 5'11", 265. Quick as lightning, though. I got to give him that. And a great guy. Obviously, he's from the Palomalu family of the. He's Troy's uncle.
So there's some athleticism in the genes.
Yeah, I mean, he's just he tells a story of you. You were talking to him about Troy and the different times you've met him. And our co-host Aeneas Hawkins, his father was in the NFL, and he did some guest coaching and stuff like that. And Palomalu came to a practice, and he goes, I was 10 years old, and he tackled me into some tackling dummies and stuff. And he goes, that was the highlight. But everybody I don't think they ever heard anybody say anything bad about Troy Palomalu.
No, I'd never.
And Iowa is the same, very, very much the same way, same person. So
that would be a life highlight to get tackled by Troy Palomalu.
just to smell his hair, just to smell it and see what's going on. Is this really Head and Shoulders? So Powers, I love the Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, yes, we do
buffet,
all-you-can-eat buffet, chicken wings. Try all.
I'm going to give you
my 24 flavors right now.
My Goon review on this.
You can try them all.
Everybody's been to a buffet before. In the buffet, they normally give you the crap wings that they don't want to put out during the week. No. Now, I will say that the greatest thing about the Quaker Steak Lube buffet is they put the exact same wings that you get during the week.
Same product.
It's the same exact product. They're not giving a different wing. They're not giving this and that.
And they're big today. I was looking at them this morning. They're special.
Now you just taunting me.
Yeah, they're beef.
I got a dinner plan with the wife right now, and you're going to tell me that.
Well, you can have an appetizer here.
Oh, Lordy,
Nothing says romance like chicken wings, my friend.
There was a late night phone call to the Quaker Steak Lube the other night. I got some. I did see goldfish was the throw in.
Yes, I threw some goldfish in for the puppies. I labeled the bags.
For the puppies?
Anyone can eat them.
Okay,
I put the dogs' names on the bags of goldfish.
What?
I wrote their names on the bags.
I didn't say that.
No. Should have written it bigger.
Because Jeremy's kid, my buddy's Jeremy, his son was he's 15 years old. I've never seen a kid eat like this. So Sunday, and we'll let you get back to work here. So Sunday, Landon and I, who's here now, obviously not on Joe time. We were out doing our show.
He was out voting, supporting our American democracy.
I hope. So we're sitting there Sunday, and then I'm telling these guys, I said, listen. White's like, I want a cheese. Like I said, I got a great Philly cheesesteak for you. I got to tell you, where'd you have one? He goes, well, the best one I ever had was at Wawa. And I said, just stop right now. Don't tell me anything else right now. I say, get ready for a true Philadelphia hoagie. So we got We Are Campus Steaks the other day. So we're sitting there eating, and he's telling me, this is unbelievable. He said, I'm not going to lie to you. I was feeding him Greek sausage on Saturday, the maple blueberry sausages for breakfast the other day, and he was like, this is unbelievable. And he kept on saying, this might be the best thing I've ever eaten. And his dad kept on saying, if your mother hears you say that, she's going to be furious. And I was like, wait, what does your mom make great wings, or your mom make a great cheesesteak? And he's like, no. If you tell a woman that this is the best thing he's ever had, and not her cooking, she's not going to cook for him. And he learned a tough lesson. So he gets the cheesesteak down. And then we're sitting there laughing, and he starts talking that he had already had Raising Cane's 15 minutes before. So when me and Lennon were doing a radio show, they walked by Raising Cane's, and he goes, "Ooh, I want to try some of those." So he goes in and gets a 4-pack of chicken tenders, which is a meal in itself.
Yes.
Then we go over to We Are Campus Steaks over on Pew Street. Shout out Joe, fantastic grub there. He's ripping down a cheesesteak, loves it, falls in love with it, and then somebody screams out, "Who ordered cheesesteak egg rolls?" And I see the kid's eyes go, "Oh." And I said, "Do you want some of them?" He goes, "I'll try them." So he rips down 3 cheesesteak egg rolls and more fries. And they were getting ready to get in their car to go back to Virginia Beach. And I was like, you better come into the house here for about a 15-minute run here. Yes. You better take care of this, because what you made Saturday night for us to deliver to the house after the game. He ate about 90% of that.
90% of that.
I mean, I'm telling you, I just sat there.
That's
I
a
mean,
lot
I
of
had like
food.
4. I was like, I'm going to bed, dude. I'm done. I got
for
through what
Davis.
I could, and then we literally ordered 4 wings. He had tenders.
Yes.
He obviously had some goldfish.
Yes. Goldfish crackers.
Jeez Louise. Poor girls were dying. So
Big couple of bags of food, but happy to do it. It was a
absolutely.
good capper to a long day. The football game result notwithstanding, otherwise, very enjoyable day Saturday. The tailgates looked great. Traffic was a bit of an issue.
Was a zoo.
But
What,
it sounds like
any
everyone was at the
nightmares
stadium
did you
had a
hear?
great time. I heard a few, but
I heard one. My one buddy came in. He said he was took 2.5 hours from the top of the mountain to get here. 2.5 hours. I said, "What are you doing leaving that late?"
Yeah,
I had
this
something to do this morning. I'm like, "That's on you, bro.
Yeah,
That's on you." My
that
wife
game
gets
that
up
day.
at 6 o'clock in the morning to go out with us because she knows it was going to be a horrible traffic
get
day.
there otherwise.
We live 3 miles from the stadium, but
Yeah.
she still said, "I didn't want to can't wait in the car."
At 9 a.m., I thought about, I'll go up there before I go to work. Stop by the stadium. I drove down to Atherton Street. It wasn't moving. I pulled into Sheets and drove back home.
Absolutely.
All right, not going to the stadium
You wouldn't.
today.
It was backed up to that Sheets.
Yes, the Sheets by my house. Yes.
Oh,
And not
jeez,
moving
Jeff.
At all. So I went to Sheets, got a breakfast sandwich, and went back to my couch.
There you go. So we got 4 to 10 tonight is the
4 to 10 for the wing buffet tonight.
$22 all you can eat.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing. And the best part about it is if they don't have a flavor on there that you want,
All
they
you have
will
to do
make
is
it for
ask.
you.
Yep. Yeah, we put about 15 of the 24 flavors out. And then if you want to try any of the other ones, just ask your server. They'll make them fresh from the kitchen for you, bring them out for you. So.
Powers, we love you.
I
We love
appreciate
having
you
the
having
show
me.
here we love. I mean, I think we're at 5 years, bro.
It does.
We're
Yes.
over 5 years because COVID was
We
4
kept
years
doing it
ago.
during COVID.
Oh, not on. So
Crazy times, but
well, we really appreciate you filling in for Landon. You know,
yes,
he's
we'll get
over
back to
there.
some serious sports talk now. So I could sit here and talk chicken wings all day, but
Chicken wings.
I think most people are here to talk.
What do you got this
Penn State
weekend? What are you
football.
thinking? Penn State.
Thinking Penn State 87,
Oh.
Washington -2.
There you go.
How's
Rushing
that?
yards.
Yeah, that's my scoreboard.
My
-3. Going back to the Bears.
the fear is this week is a big letdown.
Yes.
I hope that the energy of the whiteout, and I hope that the people are bringing the energy for the
Yes.
whiteout.
I hope so.
And again,
too.
I mean, we
It's
had
still
some
a whiteout
frustrated
game.
fans the other day, and,
Yes.
and I completely understand it. I was as frustrated as you.
It was an angry crowd in here Saturday
Yes, it
night.
was. It was definitely a like I'm sick of this type of this stuff attitude. It'll change. I think that get into this weekend. We got to. I mean, again, I go back to what I said earlier, and again, we were all frustrated, but you woke up on Sunday and there's the prize is still
It's
there.
still there.
So the Steelers go out and lose 3 or 4 games in a row. They can still,
Yes.
you're not completely out of it.
It happened middle of the season last year.
Correct.
They dropped 3 in a row: Colts, Patriots, and Cardinals, and still.
And it was
make
like
the
that
playoffs.
was as bad as they
We were
were.
in the
They
tournament.
still in the playoffs.
Yep.
That's all you need. You just got to get in.
Get in the tournament.
And then
Sometimes.
we'll see tonight where what the world thinks, because I think we are hurting with a non-power like hardcore heavy duty win.
Yes.
We really don't
No,
have
those
that.
rankings come out tonight.
I mean, we have USC who is now losing to
Benched their
Washington.
quarterback today.
They did bench the quarterback. I mean, did his arm fall off from throwing 92 times a
I
game?
think you're right. Went across the bottom of my screen earlier.
Not
today.
all.
He's done. Well, he's not starting this weekend.
So yeah, we got Washington, Purdue, Minnesota, Maryland.
Yes.
Winnable.
Yes.
All winnable.
All winnable. And
And we're going to
that
be
should-
11-1, and they're
should
going to
get
say
us in
there's
the
a
final
how can
12.
they say you do not deserve anything in the playoffs?
Yes, but
So-
a 1-score loss to Ohio State. who's
Correct. Who will
probably
end up
going to
being
be
possibly the number 1 team in the
at the
country.
very top.
What just upset me, and I told Jeff earlier, was the toughness attitude that Ohio State's back was against the wall,
Yes.
and we could have finished them. Now we wouldn't have finished them because they
Wouldn't
would
have finished
still
two
be in the
losses, yeah.
they would still be in the playoff with 2 losses, losing to the number 1 and number 2 team in the country, because
Yes.
we would have jumped to number 2
Right,
had
yes,
we won that
undefeated,
game.
headed
So
towards it.
Ohio State was going to be in. So
Yeah.
I said it to myself in the last couple of weeks, and honestly, I didn't want to say this, but I was thinking this, that if we do lose, it's an easier way to get in a sadistic way. But
I'm
you
with
know, you
thought went through my head
do
as well, but I did not want to say it aloud.
to
either.
win every game. That's the thing. You want to win every game. But why do you want to go play an extra game against the number 1 team in the country in Oregon?
Yes.
You get 1 week off, and and if you lose, you're
Better.
back at it
Yeah.
again. But now we would have a 2 or 3 week window before.
Take a week off, rest up, and maybe
Absolutely,
host
and
them
get ready to
Boise
play
State.
somebody. And you and I have talked about since they announced it a year and a half ago. All I want to do is host a home game on December 21st versus, and you know, they're going to drop Indiana, Notre Dame, or somebody on us. Like, I don't want a West Coast or a Southern team having to come up here on Christmas week.
Christmas week, a cold, snowy Saturday afternoon here in State College. Let's see a SEC team come up here and jump into that environment.
Because did we not have to go down there and play at Auburn 3 years ago when it was 112 degrees in the field?
Didn't you play in a monsoon?
Oh, we played Auburn. My last game in a Penn State uniform was in about 9 inches of water in Tampa.
Monsoon.
Were you there?
No, I was.
Oh, okay. Because I mean, that was just an insane game. How much water was out there in that field, and how much water came down through. I mean, it started at like midnight.
Yes. And
it just went straight. It was like, is this going to stop? I remember watching there is a ESPN or on the Big Ten Network or whatever. They have that game, and I remember watching. I was like, oh my god! So there's some funny stories that come out of that. I love just telling old stories. So we would get done that game, and they would just throw your shoes, your helmets, your shoulder pads. They told everybody, take your jerseys. They just threw the pants away, but your shoes went in there. Your shoes went into the bag. Your helmet went in the bag, and your shoulder pads. Now, I had to take all of my stuff because I was going to go play in the Senior Bowl. So mine was left aside. But like the truck that comes back is loaded with 105 duffel bags. And that truck sat there until January 8th or 9th or when the students got back to the student manager could unload it. Everything froze.
Oh, okay.
In those bags.
Yes.
So then when they opened up the truck and they had to open the bags and they had to thaw them in the locker room, it was the most decrepit smell in the history of the locker room ever. I can
only imagine.
It was just like the game was 8 days before, so it was just like mildew.
Yes.
And like a frozen mildew. And you walk in the locker room and it was like, whew, piercing.
I had a good friend who was a manager for the team about that time. And he did it for his first 3 years and didn't do it his fourth. Maybe that's why. I've never asked him, but we might have just got to the root of the
They made us unload this frozen wet stuff. It was like because it was the Buccaneer Stadium, so the stadium was sand. So your shoes were just covered in sand, and your pants they threw the pants away, but your jersey was in there. They made it. I think they had a second jersey for all of us in the locker room at halftime. So I think they were just like, hey, just take your jerseys. We're not going to clean these things, but the pads were disgusting. So, Doctor,
all right, thank you for
having me. Go Birds.
Go Birds. I was cheering for them last week.
So. I know, right?
Yeah,
we've had a little too many times for crossovers this year for Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
Up until December 15th.
Look at this. I mean, look at this beard. I mean, this lack of beard.
Lack of beardness. Yeah.
It's frustrating.
We can still get them.
My wife kissed me yesterday. It was the first time in a while. So I did go back. I had not shaved since the Friday of West Virginia.
You're like me with the hockey time, but unfortunately,
your mustache you had for a while.
Yeah, that was my skiing stash worked out pretty well. He had a good season.
Yeah, he got engaged. God bless him.
Yes, yeah, he's doing life right.
Yeah, he's really.
And he works hard.
He's really hurting there. So good luck with the soda to the Pirates. Juan Soto, he's coming. So let's get a little commercial. We'll bring back the new kid. Thank you, Dr. Powers. We love you, buddy.
Thank you.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
WFXS, once again.
The Fox,
your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, The Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
We're back. This is trial by team right here. The show by team right now. My third co-host I've run off.
That's it. You're running through a lot of them.
So we
right
got
now.
Landon Tangwell here, Bubba.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm just,
getting through today.
Yeah, a little frustrated with the whole, game. As this is our third day in a row of talking about this game, and now we're. I'm over it. You're over it. We're all over it, and it's just like the team's moved on. Hopefully, you don't want to we talked on our show the other day, and that would have been that as an offensive lineman, you got to have that short memory because you can't let one mistake turn into two mistakes turns into three. You got to have that short memory. Otherwise, it's going to happen. So if we keep mentally as a team going back to the Ohio State game, you're going to get snuck up on and jumped by Washington, Purdue, Minnesota, or Maryland.
Yeah.
If not more than one.
Absolutely. No, this is, and I just got done kind of looking at Washington and what they do. Yeah, that's a team you can lose to if you're playing around with them.
And they're playing well.
They're playing well. They're starting to get hot. Their quarterback is, decent, but their run game is legit. They have rushed for over 100 yards in every single game this year. So their running back number one, I forget his name. I was just looking at him today, but this dude can tote the football. Let me just put it like that. So our defense has to come ready to contain, tackle, and not let another run game go all over them. That can't happen at Penn State, and I'm sure that is a big piece of what practices this week is tackling and making sure your gap sound, because that's what happens when those big runs happen. Sometimes it's just blocked up, but there was a couple times linebackers were jumping in and out of gaps they weren't supposed to be in, and so you break off big runs. And when you're playing really elite level talent, and we've only really seen that type of skill level from the running back position and kind of receivers at USC and Ohio State. I think Washington has that in this number one dude at running back. So, yeah, should be interesting. But no, Goon, you can't let this creep into the locker room. Yeah. And as I mentioned, I think I mentioned this on our Sunday show, it is eerily similar
to your Rose Bowl year.
2021 year.
Yeah.
That was 22.
Rose
Bowl was 22. 21 year. We were, thought we were going to be undefeated, and then we played the number 3 team in the nation, and then we lost Iowa, and then it kind of imploded because that was like emotionally too much for that team. There wasn't that leadership piece to be able to handle a loss like that. And we just kind of crumbled after that. And then we rattled off losses to, oh man, that was bad. Illinois, 9 overtime, Michigan State, Ohio State, and Michigan the rest of that season. And then we lost to Arkansas in the Outback Bowl. So not a good year at all, man. And so that is what you cannot let happen coming off in a really just an emotional loss. So you could just tell.
But that bad season led to your Rose Bowl victory the next year.
It did. I'll tell you what.
No doubt about it, because there's guys in that locker room who said that we're not going to let this happen again.
You're right.
Like I said, I had mine in 92. When the 92 would happen to us, where a lot of guys mailed it in, and then 93 and 94, we were very, very successful because it was what we saw how bad it could go.
Right.
And we would not let that happen.
Hear me out. I don't mean to Debbie Downer you
Go
right
ahead.
now. Let's talk about real quick next season. I don't mean to look ahead, but I think this is a moment we can look ahead to next season. We know where we're at. If we went out these last 4, we're in a good place, playoffs, home game, all of that. But I'm just saying, you talk about, maybe next season, but just looking at it, Drew Aller's probably gone. Nick Singleton is probably gone. Katron Allen's probably staying. Tyler Warren is gone. That's pretty much it on offense, but the offense already isn't doing that amazing. But let's just talk about the defense. Denai could be gone. Abdul's gone. Devon's gone at defensive tackle. Zane could be gone. Hakeem Beeman is gone. Kozai Izer could be gone. Both DN depth pieces could be gone. Smith Vilbert's in his 6th year. Zariah Fisher was in his 5th year. Amin Vandiver was in his 5th year. Oh my God. And then obviously KJ Winston, you don't know what he's going to do. He could just leave. Jalen Reed is gone. My God. Like I said, I don't mean to be that guy right now where we sit. Probably not the best time to be dwelling on that. But this team looks a lot different next year. So win this year, maybe. That'd be a good idea, Goon. So I don't know. I will say, no, it's interesting.
Well, this was the year that we matched up the best with Ohio State. And we talked about on Sunday, and that was being that Ohio State is the number 1 team in the country, I believe. I believe that they're better than Oregon. But we had them on the ropes, man. We had them where we wanted to. So we are at that point. And that is why I think that people get so frustrated.
Listen, you can blame the refs, blame whatever, but we
I'm not
were there.
blaming the refs.
No, I'm just saying we were there. Like we could have taken it, but we didn't.
7 plays in the 5-yard line, and we got 0 points.
Yep.
And you lose by a touchdown total.
Did you guys talk college football playoff rankings come out tonight?
Yeah, we talked. Yeah, we didn't get into it. I mean, Jeff was talking, so it was.
No,
we were just like, it'll be interesting to see where we stand, because
I think we'll be lower than we. I mean, higher. Yeah, like I think
AP
we'll be
has it at 6 right
at
now.
6. Wait, 7.
6 or 7.
Yeah,
I thought it was 6. To be honest with you,
I thought it was 7. Maybe you're right. Maybe
That's
Indiana's
all right.
7. But anyways, I think we're like 8 or 9. That's where places are having.
Well, yeah, we don't have a power victory.
Yeah, signature win.
Is Indiana ahead of us?
Absolutely. And
because they're undefeated, but who's there?
Yeah, but people are having this conversation. If Indiana has the name of any other school that's at all a blue blood, they are the number 1 team in the nation, because they haven't lost. Their offense is humming. They're putting up 40 points a game, and they're just destroying people. I mean, you can say, yeah, who's their win? But, like, they are taking care of people. They're doing everything you could possibly do. You can't say that for Penn State.
Actually,
I mean, being down
we took
from
care
10
of
to Bowling
we had to
Green
take care of.
Yeah.
They're us last week. We took care of everything we had to take care of, and now it's their time. We had to play Ohio State last week. We had to get that marquee victory. We had to get that victory, and it was there, and it fell through our hands.
Yeah,
so I do think that we will be a little lower than the AP ranking has us at 6 or 7 right now. Do you think we're out of the top 8 as in the home performance, home game wise? Because playing the 4 games we're going to play at the end of the season, they're not going to be like, wow. But you go undefeated in that, and you're 11-1.
So
I'm sorry, but you cannot put a 2-team Alabama ahead of us. No,
I mean, and then we talked about this on the Sunday show, that it's all about when it happens. So this Ohio State loss is fresh right now. If we go and we play 4 games and we dominate Washington and Purdue and we win like the games where we're supposed to, I don't know if we will, because we haven't really done that as of recent. We always play with our food. But if we do that, because we'll be on a 4-game win streak, they'll say, oh, this Penn State team is hot. They have to be maybe even number 6. You don't know if Ohio State loses to Oregon. That's the thing for Ohio State. I mean, they still have Washington. I mean, no, Ohio State still has Indiana and Michigan. And then they have the Big Ten championship, too. If they make it, I mean, Indiana could.
Well, I'm telling you right now, don't be surprised if that Indiana team beats Ohio State. I mean, think about the ramifications of that.
I have a new thought.
So if that happens, we might be out.
Well,
would you think they would take? I mean, are they going to take 4 Big Ten teams?
Yes. No way.
And
no
Ohio
way.
State loses 2 times. Ball. Ohio State would lose 2 times. Once to Ohio. We're saying Indiana.
Yes.
And then
that would mean that Indiana would probably most likely be playing Oregon, and they're both undefeated.
And they're both
in the Big Ten championship.
They'd both be in.
So that'd be interesting.
But
I mean,
it would come down to Ohio State versus Penn State. And there's a way that we can get 4 teams in the playoff.
Yeah,
that's asking a lot. That's a
we're all
lot
good.
from one conference, man.
Hey, man, we're maybe we're better than the SEC. Who knows? So
there is also 92 Big Ten teams now, so that's the other thing.
Fair point.
So I talk about with Ironhead all the time how much like it seems like we've had role reversal with the SEC, where our 4 teams we bring in, 3 are pretty much watered down, and then obviously Oregon is a stud, but then there's 3 teams that you're playing them and they're people are whacking them, So are we? Instead of playing in Indiana or playing a Northwestern this year, or Iowa, we pick up Washington, UCLA, and USC. I mean, not exactly, murderer's row out there.
Right.
And now it just seems the SEC, they bring in the number 1, at one point, the number 1 team in the country in Texas, and Oklahoma. They strengthened their conference where I think we watered ours down a little bit.
I don't disagree. And I keep talking about next season, but I will say next season, our schedule is a lot harder. We don't have Michigan again. Fun fact. I thought we had them, but we have Ohio State, Indiana, at Ohio State. Indiana, I think, might be home, but then we have Oregon at home as well. And then we have Rutgers too. But yeah, no Michigan next year, but it's a little bit harder next year. So we'll see. I mean, it's definitely now with 20 teams in the Big Ten. 18. It's a luck of the
18.
draw.
Is it 20?
No, 18. That's right.
It's 18.
18. I thought we were there.
When do we pick up Notre Dame?
Yeah, it's coming. But 18 teams. Is it 18?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because we're 11. Nebraska was 12. Maryland, Rutgers was 14. And they picked up the new 4. 18.
You're right.
It's all good.
So
that's what I'm here for, Bubba.
I appreciate it. That means a lot,
I'm Uncle
man.
Goon, buddy.
Uncle Goon. Uncle Goonie. So it's more of a luck of the draw now with the schedule. I mean, it's like if you have a good schedule, you're you're good.
Well, you're
but
going
if you
back
draw,
to what you were saying earlier about how we're losing all of these guys this year, probably, but because of what we had coming back, and then we had a very winnable schedule. Is what we had, a very favorable schedule this year.
Yeah.
We didn't play Indiana, we didn't play Michigan, and we didn't play Oregon.
About as good as it could get. That's why this 11-1 would kind of feel like, I don't want to say fraudulent, but does it really have? This 11-1 has not
it's
even
an
close.
SEC 11-1 where they played one big game, lost it, but they're still 11-1. Like when there was the adage before this year, Alabama and Georgia. We had played Alabama more planned, and not SEC title games, but more scheduled conference games. Penn State played Alabama more than Georgia.
Interesting.
There was definitely that. I mean, in the last, they didn't play that much. But now with Oklahoma and Texas coming in, now they're playing eight games, and you saw those 2 playing this year. It is an unbelievable year, and again, Landon and I are just as frustrated as everybody out there listening right now, and we're not going to try and sugarcoat it by saying, "Oh, everything's fine." It is fine. All the goals are still attainable, but this is when Franklin's 1-0 mentality really comes into play. And I have an issue with the 1-0 mentality, and that is, it's like, you do have to remember your losses. I'm sorry, but you really do need to remember your losses to work on those things. You can't just forget them. And I don't think he allows that. Again, I will take James Franklin running my organization any day. With the way he has these kids believing and thinking and all that. Very smart man with all this stuff. So that 1-0 mentality, it's great when you win because you never want to get too high. I mean, I'm going to go old school Joe Paterno on you. You're never as good as you are when you think you are when you win, and you're never as bad as you are when you lose. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, that was the number 1 team in the country right there. And they took a lot of punches, and we took a lot of punches from them, and we only lost by 7 points. Yes, we all wanted that victory. There's no doubt. But in a sick world, like I just told Powers, we're actually in a better position.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to have to play Oregon in the Big Ten title game. You can rest your players and get ready for that home playoff game. It's in a weird world. Like I had that thought last week, but it was like, you still have to go out and try to win every one of your games.
Absolutely. But I got something for you.
Yeah.
Ohio State loses to Oregon in the Big Ten championship.
Okay.
Ohio State has 2 losses. We win our last 4 games. People are high on us. Oh, that's not the same Penn State team that lost to Ohio State. They're hot now. Ohio State just loses to Oregon. Is there a world where you can put us in front of Ohio State and say maybe Penn State could be the 6th seed? Let's say we're both like 6, 7 in that area, 8. Yeah. And can you put Penn State ahead of them with Ohio State?
With 1 loss, and they have 2 losses. Yeah. They went head-to-head, but they lost to Oregon 2 times. I know what you're saying. I hear what you're putting down
which
there.
I think would be messed up to do, but that's what would happen just because of where we would be at. They would have just
versus 1 loss.
2 versus, and they would have just lost, and that's fresh. And we would have lost 4 weeks ago. And let's say in the scenario we handle everybody that we're playing, I think we're ranked ahead of Ohio State, as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah, I'm right with you, bud.
Yeah.
Again, I go back to it. Everything is still there, and it's up to our locker room. I'm sorry, James Franklin and the coaching staff can be blue in the damn teeth talking about, move on. But until that locker room does, and, you're the one who tells me, I take your word for it because you live amongst these guys, you eat with these guys, these are your best friends, and that is that they are led very well.
Absolutely.
Extraordinarily well. And I'm going to go back to your Rose Bowl year. And Aeneas was telling me, he's like, bro, we're going to the Rose Bowl this year. We're going to go to the Rose Bowl. And I was like, okay, man, I believe you. Because I was like, I didn't see it the last couple of years before that. I saw the meltdown the year before. Mm-hmm. I saw COVID. I saw some really bad football going on out there and guys not caring. But Aeneas told me when, this is back when we interviewed you as a player. You were just a young puppy. And, Aeneas was like, hey, man, these guys are not going to let this affect us. We are going to the Rose Bowl. I'm telling you right now, we're going to go to the Rose Bowl. I said, okay. So, I kept on following this team and watching them and so very well led. And the similarities, please tell me. The guys in that locker room.
It is. It's very similar. We got a lot of old guys leading. Nick Dawkins, Devontae Thomas. I think Drew Aller really has become a leader, and we've seen that on the field from everything that he's done this year.
Warren's just get on my back and watch me. He's not a rah-rah guy.
Absolutely.
And then you know what? You need those guys too. I'm not sitting there dogging Tyler Warren and saying you need to step up and be a leader. Nope.
You do exactly
what you do. You're Paul Posluszny.
Yep.
Paul was not a talker. He would just say, watch.
Yep, you lead by example, and you exactly like you said. You tell guys, hop on, man. We're
and there are people who are great leaders, like you say, Jair Brown a couple years ago.
Insane leader, absolutely.
Right? Who is that right now? Devon?
The crappy part is, I feel like that would have been KJ. Even I know it's just like comparing position. That's exactly how KJ was too. I don't mean
he learned from him.
Absolutely, I don't mean to dampen it at all, but it really does hurt not having. I think that game's different if we have KJ, because they had Caleb Downs, the best safety in America, which I think it could have been KJ, and he was all over the field. If we could have had that guy out there for us, game could have been real different. But there's a couple. I think Jalen Reed, not necessarily. I think that's another guy who doesn't get up and give speeches, but he leads from his play, and you see it. He's out there, and he's going to talk a little trash, and he's going to get. That's someone that the team feeds off of when Jalen Reed is out there. But as far as like the true leadership guys, Kobe King, Devontae Thomas, Dom DeLuca, there's guys all over that defense. And then I think on offense, like I said, leading from Tyler Warren from the top down. But I know Nick Dawkins is the best leader on this team through and through, in my opinion.
And then they have a little bit to make up. I'm sorry, the offensive line got beat up a little bit.
Absolutely.
I think that they realize that, and I think that Nick's going to sit there and say, okay, that's not going to happen again. Everybody needs to get their stuff straight.
Dude, let me show you this.
Uh-oh.
I'm showing Goon right now currently one of our runs from the end zone view.
Clutter of human beings.
And
there's zero movement on that line of scrimmage.
I'm just showing basically it was a still frame of a run we had against Ohio State, and there was not a single lick of movement, but also everybody was collapsed into the middle, and poor Katron Allen really had nowhere to go. And man, the run game's been struggling these past couple. It was hard because we were rushing. It was 200 first 5-6 games. And now we just hit this point where it's like, Man, this feels like we can't do anything. Nick and Kay trying to average.
Did Ohio State run 8-man?
8 men in the box.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I mean, I watched the tape and I broke it down on my YouTube channel at Behind the Wall with Landon Tangwall. Go check that out.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. I will tell you what, Jim Knowles is one hell of a coach, Ohio State's defensive coordinator. They were doing things. They know that we love to get in the flats to Nick Singleton, which we still threw it to him 6 times. But when we do all those motions and we try to hit guys in the flats, what they started doing was dropping the defensive end where we're going to the flat so they can just pop off and cover whatever's happening in the flat. And they'd bring someone else from the other side, and they were overloading us. And they did that multiple times, dropping someone here, overloading the other side, and it just worked really,
how'd you
really
catch
well.
on to that? Not our offensive staff. I mean, I'm not dogging anybody out here. I'm just saying.
I will say that's something.
We got to realize that if that's going on, we got to get a hot read out of that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, there was times too, and I'll show you after this. But there was times where.
So were they blitzing a lot? Because that was what Knowles has not been doing this year.
They definitely blitzed a good couple times, yes. Okay. And that's when there was a couple times where they got TFLs. There was a big sack on Drew where they blitzed the guys where. I mean, they just played it.
Because remember going in there, how people were all after Larry.
Yeah, and they weren't really performing.
Man.
I wouldn't say they really still didn't. I'm going to be honest. It was like one of the sacks was Drew looked down the field for 4 seconds, no one was open, and then Anthony Donker was in front of Sawyer the whole time, and then Drew finally had to run forward, and Sawyer just lunged. It wasn't. Oh, that's a coverage sack. And then it was just. I don't know. It was hard, and the couple of blitzes they brought were really exotic stuff. I mean. They were the most talented team. They were more physical, and the coaches beat our coaches, and we still barely lost. Yep. We were inside the 3-yard line
out there,
2
buddy.
times. Yeah, man. So
we took their best shot. You have to realize that is the number 1 or 2 or 3 team in the country right there. We took their best shot. We had a shot to win it, and it didn't happen. I've been involved with some goal line stands before that have been absolutely horrendous, and they're like game changing and career and life changing. 78. I know you're a young buck, but we lose a national title game because we can't score 4 plays from the 1-yard line.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We played Alabama. We went up the middle.
Sugar Bowl.
Yep.
Damn.
So that's 78, and then Joe would tell us stories that he let the 79 team go down the drain because of that, because he could not get over that. He could not get over that loss in 78 to the point where he almost retired.
Oh, I did hear that.
He could not get over that loss, and it really, really affected the 79 team.
We ran it up the middle 4 times?
Yep.
Oh, sounds familiar. Okay.
And then, that was the thing. I mean, we had our lineman in motion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
If you want, I'm not dogging him out or anything, but he didn't hit anybody. And if we have him out there as like a lead block, I understand it, but we weren't doing anything with him.
Okay, hear me out. Now that I didn't even think about this, but where we sit right now, in my opinion, Vanga, Anthony Donker's banged up. I think he was the best. Vanga Ioane is the best run blocker on this team.
Okay.
And you put him out at wide receiver for a goal line runs up the middle.
Yep. And he's in motion 4 straight plays. And he was not really kicking out. I mean, if they wanted to run to the outside, he could have sealed that end easy, but we went inside, and he got beat inside. Now, the people he was blocking, they were not making the tackles, but why do you have him in there to bring another mutant into that game? Another guy into the box.
That one hurts, man.
I mean, if they're running him in motion and somebody's chasing him, then run him off the field. Get that guy out of the box.
Oh, man.
Was there a play involved where he would be getting a pass thrown to him? I mean, I don't understand.
He would have been wide open.
4 straight plays of him coming in motion, trying to kick out. We didn't run anything. We didn't run out of our bootleg. We didn't run anything. We tried to run up the middle, and he was trying to kick the backside defensive end out. What was going on? I mean, do we not have a better lineup than that? You said a coach said it was Kodal Nicky who was making those calls at that point in the game.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, too.
Again, Ohio State won that game. I'm not going to say we lost that game. Ohio State came and took that game. As frustrating as it is to say. Yeah. They won that game. Their backs were against the wall. If they had lost 2 games, yes, they still would have been in the playoffs. But, yes, they still have 4 more games left.
Gotcha.
Excuse me, 3 more games. Well, yeah, they had 4 games because they've had all their buys too. So they would still have 4 more games left. And with the pressure of playing Indiana and Michigan, if they lose either one of those teams, they are definitely out.
Absolutely.
So Ohio State had to win that game. They put their big boy pants on in here and came into an environment which was absolutely insane. You were on the field.
It's the biggest crowd in Beaver Stadium.
How loud was it?
Really loud.
I mean, I really want to know how loud that interception was.
Really, very. I think if you're watching on TV, it didn't do it justice because I feel they basically have these things where they can let you hear what it really sounds like, or they completely drown out the crowd noise for the TV. And it, from what I heard, and then I've heard it on TV, it wasn't even close to the same thing. It was rocking in Beaver Stadium after that pick six because there was like a feel of like, oh my God, are we going to rout these guys? Are we going to rout Ohio State this year? Because there was already the thought, oh, these guys aren't that good. And then it's 10-0, and Will Howard's first pass is a pick six. And then they come out, and this was really the defining part. They have two huge runs, and then they have the big play action pass, the Mekabuka touchdown, and then the floodgates were open from there. And then honestly, they weren't. We stopped them on third down. Get off the field. Elliott Washington, taunting penalty. They go down. They finish off the drive.
Do you think it was?
Here's what, and I totally agree with Franklin. Textbook, yes.
How many no reason for him to get up off the. First of all, he didn't hit him. The guy fell.
I know, and how many times? Here's my thing. Like I said, yes, textbook is that. Technically, yes, that's a penalty. How many times does that happen and it's not called? A ton. And then that's and
the walking over a player though. That was the thing. I don't see it that much.
And here's the thing: for the refs to be that tone deaf in a game, Penn State versus Ohio State, that you're going to throw that, and as a ref, you're not just throwing. That it was third down, they made the tackle, they're punting, and you give them that bailout. It's one thing if he smacks him in the face. All right, completely understand. But you're going to give something on the edge like that much, and you're going to be okay calling that if you're the refs. I mean, the refs work for Ohio State. I'm sorry, I can't get fined. So unfortunately, James Franklin can, but I can't.
Let's go to a break here real quick because I want to come back and talk about that lead that we're talking about.
I'm about to kill
a little bit of theory on that.
We're gonna go to break here, but once we're done here, I'm gonna kill this wing buffet
That's what
here.
I want to talk to you about. We're good.
At Quaker Steak and Lube.
We'll be back with the Goon and Ironhead show with Tang Tang. See you, boys.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
WFXS, once again, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
Welcome back into the Goon and Ironhead show. Ironhead dropped a couple years. We have
put a couple Two Tree LBs on.
Definitely a couple Two Tree. This is
what we're going to talk about right now.
What you got?
How many Two Trees are you going to eat right now here in about 20 minutes?
Dude, so
Landon comes in, I can see him walking in, and I see him just like looking at the buffet like,
I'm going to be honest.
Goon and Ironhead show. Goon asks the questions here.
Do you think?
No, I'm just kidding around. So it's usually about, I think the threshold is about 10 to 12 wings, and you've got $22.
Right.
You've made your, you won.
Yeah.
I saw you do that last week in about the first 6 minutes.
Yeah, I did do that, and then I'm here.
And then the sides.
See, that's my sell for it. So I'm so serious. This is just straight up how I feel. Number one, my dad has been going to Quaker Steak and Lube since he was in college up at Slippery Rock, back when they had like 5-cent wing night. And he used to tell me stories about how his friends and him used to basically just take wings home in Ziploc bags.
Yeah.
And sorry, Quaker Steak and Lube, but it was cheap back then.
It's cheap now, really.
Well, it is.
I'm just kidding. It's $1 a wing still almost.
Well, I mean, that's just the world we live in. But hey. So, no, but getting back to my story, my dad, every time we'd come up here, I had a lot of water polo tournaments up in PA, and we would always stop at Quaker Steak and Lube all the time. He would always get Louisiana liquors. So once I got here, I was finally in it, because I grew up in Maryland my whole life. I was finally in State College where there was a Quaker Steak and Lube. And so I'd come here like once a week. And I remember Sean Clifford in 21, Taquan Roberson, and Christian Vay, you all brought us out here, and they split the bill. And this was really pre-NIL. And they split the bill for all the linemen to have an all you can eat buffet here. It was pretty cool. I got to say, shout out to those guys for doing that. And like I said, that was
how many guys? 15 D linemen,
probably offensive linemen. But I'd say probably about 20, because they did walk-ons too. It was a hefty bill.
So you're talking about $15 a piece probably back then. So you're talking about a $300 bill, or at least a $100 bill before tip. Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. So shout out to Sean Clifford. I think Sean Clifford took the majority of it, but the other boys, they chipped in for sure. But yeah, man, the reason why you said you have to get to about 10 to 12 wings for it to be worth it technically, I get that, and I'm going to go over that number. But because of the variety, you can have 10 different wings flavors, and then also you
24 flavors is what Jeff told me today.
Exactly. And then you get all these. You get like 6 sides and dessert with the apple
mac
crisp.
and cheese. They have pierogies over there.
Pierogies.
They have the fries.
My favorite
they
thing,
have
though,
the chicken tenders.
Corn nuggets too.
You did like the corn nuggets.
The corn nuggets are really good.
I know. You were like a little kid eating corn nuggets, like you were like a McDonald's fat kid. Like, I got McDonald's. PJ Mullen.
Why is Goon wearing a Cowboys
blue
t-shirt?
PJ, stop with that talk,
Eagles,
sir.
Cowboys week?
Stop with that talk, PJ.
Oh man,
I think you should be wearing about Rutgers, Mr. Mullen.
Oh,
it's a good point though. I do have to agree, though. I don't agree with you, PJ, but I agree with you.
You ready for that game? Eagles, hey, I never seen a head coach that the fans want to fire more at sitting at 6-2.
He left 9 points on the board because he's an idiot.
Yeah, he's a bad coach.
He
but
just tries to do all this crap,
roster.
and it's like, quit trying to reinvent the wheel, dude. Just play the game supposed to be played and all that. I get it, but he just tries to do too much, and he tries to buy in everything, and then he wears thin with people. And as you could tell, there's a very thin line with people in Philadelphia when it comes to their sports actions.
Oh, you're telling me that's
It's a little weird.
It is interesting.
So I want to go back real quick. So we go up 10-0 on Saturday.
Right.
And I say this.
3 points in the final 3 quarters. It's up on the TV right here.
Yes, that one hurt. That one hurt. Absolutely hurt.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we scored 6 offensive points last week.
Yeah. at the end of the day, and I'll say this.
That's Ohio State.
Shout out to my man, Justin King. I think he got a little upset with me on Twitter because I had put out that I was saying, hey, the Penn State defense let up too many rushing yards. And this is after I said a lot of stuff about the offense. But I said, hey, too many rushing yards. And he said, hey, that wasn't really it wasn't our fault that we lost this game. And I was like, I agree, honestly. The defense, you give up 20 points to Ohio State, and then also you give the offense 7 points because you score 7.
Correct.
So you're saying, hey, offense, we only need 13 points out of you. I don't care what else the defense does. If they say, oh, we only need 13, or really we need 14 out of you to win, you should be able to do that.
To a dynamic offense and a dynamic team that we are supposed to be. So
yes,
I say this, and I go back and I'm going to bring up the Rose Bowl. I think the worst thing that happened to us at that Rose Bowl in 1995, and I've told this story multiple times, it was we relaxed when Kijana goes 83 yards in the first play. And as an offense, we were just like, we're going to kill these guys. We're going to win by 50 points. Like you said, the sideline was like, oh, my God, we're going to rout Ohio State.
Yeah.
This is going to be amazing, right? And that's the exact feeling. And you let your guard down a little bit. And that's what defensively the guard got let down. And offensively, they let up a little bit. And then Ohio State just said, no, we're not going to lose this game. And they out-toughed us and beat us up. And that's what's upsetting.
I will tell you, fun fact. I told you I was watching Washington's film. In the past 2 games, in each game, they've had a straight full-up goal line stand. Against USC, that's how they won the game. USC ran the ball all the way down. There was like a minute and a half or 2 minutes left. And then they got to the 1-yard line. 2 or 3 plays from the 1-yard line. USC could not get in. Washington, turnover on downs, and that was the end of the game. And then versus Indiana 2 weeks ago, they had them. It was right before halftime, and it was 1st and goal from the 1 for Indiana, and Washington stopped them 3 downs in a row, and then they took a field goal going into halftime. So,
woof, woof.
Not talking about goal line stands. That's something Washington's pretty good at. So, I guess we will see.
There's going to be you tell me, is there a goal line scrimmage this week?
I think there is. Fun fact, I think there is, talking just the run game. So, Washington has not rushed for less than 100 yards in every single game this season. And then just talking from a standpoint of what they've let up since Big Ten play started for them, so the past 5-6 games, they have given up. Their defense has given up over 100 yards rushing in every game. So they're very good at rushing the ball, and they're also very bad at stopping other teams from rushing the ball. So I don't know. Maybe we see a little ground game fest out here in Beaver Stadium Saturday night. But I do think there is
an how we win.
No, I don't. I mean, also, they're not that good of a team.
No,
I will tell you.
We got to talk about they got to come in from the West Coast.
They do, yeah.
This is the thing this is definitely a thing. It's late in the year. The players are tired, and now they got to fly 3,000 miles across the country
in November. Yeah, and well, now the weather starts to come into play. Hey, I'm used to playing every single game in some nice weather. If I'm out, for the most part, I can get a little cold when you play up in, the very Northwest, but I'm used to fairly warm stuff. Now I got to go play in PA and Michigan.
Weather-wise, we look all right this week. To be honest with you, I think it's going to be very similar to last week, which you were at the tailgate, bro. That was unbelievable atmosphere the other day.
Dude,
everything about it.
Can we talk? I mean, the Goon tailgate, it was meant to be in that position right in between game day and Fox Big Noon, and just food, some good drinks, some puppies to love on. I mean, that's the best part. You got everything. You got, like in college.
It's like a zoo.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 different doggies.
We have free-range dogs walking around. Like I'm on the grill. I mean, I cooked like 65 pounds of food the other day before the game even started. Had to reload the coolers about 4 damn times. So we went through 25 cases of beer. Modelo, obviously being the main one.
Shout out Modelo.
Modelo
Blue White Players Show.
Sponsored by Modelo.
Love it.
It's actually a fantastic beer. Very much enjoying it.
It seriously is probably my favorite. It's probably my go-to. There. So, yeah. I mean, every time I look forward to going to the Blue Course here at Penn State on Monday nights because I know I'm going to enjoy some Modelo's and just hang out with Goon. Talk some ball. We had Nolan Rucci on.
Yeah, it's great. Great interview.
Yeah. Oh, he was really good.
And
He
then
was really good.
it was just fun talking to him because I see his dad, I see his mom, and it's great. It's a little known fact that his dad was a NFL player, played at Syracuse back in the Jim Brown days. So I'm sure he played in what was the Ernie Banks movie? Not Ernie Banks, the Ernie
Els?
No,
That's a golfer, isn't it? Yeah. The Ernie Els movie.
The guy who Jim Brown's backup, Ernie Davis, who was at Syracuse, and he got drafted. He got drafted by the Cleveland Browns. They were going to have the Davis Brown backfield, but then he got leukemia and died after winning the Heisman. I think he was the first African American to win the Heisman, actually. But his grandfather was probably part of those teams. So pretty damn cool. And then his dad was Franklin Marshall's head coach for a long time down in Lancaster area. And, Nolan, 14-hour drive to Wisconsin or an hour and 45 minutes. I used to sit there and think that, by the way, when I would be driving in from home or coming in, like nowadays, and I know friends that went to like Notre Dame and they went to like Michigan and Eddie George going to Ohio State, and some guys I played with in the Colts were from Jersey and played at Iowa, and I'm like, man, how many times did they drive by State College and go, damn, I wish I went to school here instead of having to drive another 12 damn more hours.
Yeah, dude, that's why I didn't go to Notre Dame. I mean, no, not really. I wanted to come here anyways, but I was like for sure. Like when I went to visit. Just going to I only went once. I was going to go a second time for my official visit. But when I went to Notre Dame, I said, oh my God, it was so hard to get out here. I am never coming here to play football because I had to go to the airport. So I had to drive, whatever, a little 20-minute ride. That's the nice part about Maryland. Get to the airport. Then I had to fly an hour and a half. Oh, I want another one of those chocolate shakes.
You want a milkshake, don't you?
I want another milk. I'm going to have a milkshake with my wing buffet.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Are you kidding
Just
me?
top off the caloric intake.
No, but
your parents are going to call me and yell at me saying I'm feeding you too good.
I do. I eat too good when I'm with Goon. So I know sometimes if I just know I go over to Goon to watch.
Just go back to the Notre Dame thing because you can really talk about you and I could drive here. But if we're trying to get somebody down here from Miami, from Alabama, from Texas, from California, and they come in to State College and they go, "What the hell?"
Yeah, so we had to. So I flew from BWI into I think Chicago.
Yep.
I think, and then I had to drive another
2 hour drive,
and then another 2 hours to Notre Dame, and it was like, oh my God, that was so inconvenient. I could hop in my car and drive 3 hours to Penn State, like I did 25 times during my recruiting life. So yeah, that's why I picked Penn State. I mean, it wasn't the reason, but for me, being close to home was a pretty big factor. I think for a lot of people it is, and that's why it's kind of cool. An NCAA 25, like the new college football game, like when you're recruiting guys. Like in the video game, certain guys have different interests. Some guys, it's like, can I play now? Some guys, I have to be close to home. It's kind of interesting because it really is like that in real life. Some guys don't care; they'll go cross country. But for me, like there was no chance I was leaving the East.
Well, nowadays, I mean, somebody says I'm going to give you $500,000 to come play at Notre Dame. What are you doing?
Well, yeah,
I'm flying to Chicago and driving up to Notre Dame. That's the difference of where the world is right now.
God bless the Goon,
Billy Grandy, El Duce, BG, and it doesn't stand for Benny Goodman. I know that, baby.
Oh man. Well, guys, it's
so we got whiteout conditions on Saturday.
Whiteout conditions. No, this is the whiteout.
Oh yeah. What are you thinking?
Whiteout.
What are you thinking the fans come out like?
I still think we'll be rocking, and I think it's hard, especially after you got the whole player, coach, fan situation post game. It's obvious, and what I said, honestly, at the end of the day, it's really just not a good look for anybody involved in the situation. But I think we can put it behind us. We can understand that day was hard for everybody.
Everybody, it was a brutal day. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the fans will come out rocking.
The fans will be there, I think. But I'm just my only fear is if Washington does well and we're not sharp, that there will be some boos raining down. And I don't know if our kids, I mean, no offense, this generation doesn't handle that too well.
If we go 3 and out on the first drive with offense, you're hearing boos. Guarantee it.
And how do we handle that?
Well,
what do you think? What's your personal opinion?
I mean, you just got to block it out and just stay the course of whatever you're trying to do.
But there are guys who will get mad like they did the other day.
Oh, there's guys that
the alma mater who are just like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, my thing is you got to take if you want all the accolades and adulation but you need to take the brunt of some.
Okay.
If it's not working out, and I'm not dogging anybody or playing. I'm just saying.
Listen, I said I talked about this on my post-game show on YouTube, and I said I completely understand both sides. If you're a player, you just poured your heart and soul. You spend every waking moment trying to win. You're going to go home and cry about this, and you have some fans that don't, no offense, but don't know anything really about what you do, and they're booing you. Mm-hmm. I understand why you're pissed. Flip side, the fans, all you want to do is beat Ohio State. We have really barely beat them since the turn of the century for the most part. Only once in 2016. It was really kind of a fluke, if we're going to be honest. We have been so close in so many different moments, and then you go up 10-0, everybody's hopes are up, and then you lose kind of in the same fashion as you always do. That hurts. And you're going to hear about it because people spend their time and their money, supporting Penn State. And I just spent all this money, and I just spent my Saturday, really my whole weekend dedicating this to you. And
it's not cheap.
And that happens. So I completely understand the fans.
It's not cheap. And then you have people constantly saying, well, you need to give more money if you want more victories. And I know people are like, I want to see victories before I start putting money up.
I don't blame them.
But, but the players have to understand that they are seen in a different light right now. They are not amateurs anymore.
Well, that's another thing, and it's like,
they can't have the good without the bad.
Here's my conversation. I don't, not at all. The alma mater is the alma mater. We are to be, absolutely, we are to respect the alma mater. But you start booing guys during that. The NFL doesn't have no alma mater. When you lose, you get to walk off the field. If you're getting booed, it's whatever. But to stand there and have to take, like I said, I'm just playing devil's advocate, and especially since I just got done playing. I obviously
weren't people?
I would not
doing
have
the alma mater with them. Why were they booing? I mean,
well, exactly. It really is. You can play both sides.
Yeah, I know.
And I do think the fans are a little more in the wrong than the players for walking off, or you just don't boo them. I'm be honest. It's pretty. Like we get booed for that, but I don't remember really getting booed after Illinois. After Illinois in 9 overtime, I still don't remember the alma mater.
I think everybody left by then.
Yeah, I think everybody probably did leave. There was just so much disappointment that day. Like this was shock. This was like angry. It was like shocking. You were in here, weren't you?
Yeah, I was actually at home with ice on my face because I had already smashed my face off the wall.
That's a good representation for how most of the fan base felt that day. But Goon actually physically did it.
Yes, I physically don't remember that game because I had a concussion. So that was my finest concussion.
You're fine. Yeah,
Goon's finest. You are literally 1 minute. I see you literally. You have true coming out of the side of your mouth, bro. It's okay, man.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the wing buffet. I am free. I'm not gonna lie, guys. As much as I love doing radio shows and being here next to Goon, I'm watching the timer go down because I haven't eaten yet today.
All right, it's all good.
Fast.
If you want to go over, I'll take us out of here.
No. Listen, because I fast and I go and I wait till the end of the day to have my first meal. I'm trying to lose some of that offensive line weight. And I'm more than probably wings and fried food isn't the best idea, but you know what? I don't eat the whole day, so I can eat whatever I want later.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Got to get it done.
We want to bring this back out of here, and then what we got here? Banners? What are we doing?
I got us. Brand.
Okay, here we go, buddy.
Yep. So appreciate you guys tuning in.
Very much joining us, helping us out as you normally do. So. What do you got behind the wall? When's your next show?
Yeah, we got some good stuff coming out. I will have my Washington pregame out on Thursday. I'll be on the radio here on 98.7 The Fox on Wednesday, 3 to 4 p.m. So you can check that out as well. And then coming to you live all week, man. I'm going 3 to 4 p.m. as well on Friday. Got some stuff Saturday morning. It's the whole thing. Actually, really cool thing. Wednesday, Guido.
Yes.
Guido D'Elia. I did a sit down with him last Friday, and he is the creator of the Whiteout. So that is coming on my channel Wednesday afternoon,
amongst other things.
And so he's the creator of the Whiteout, but he really is why the game day atmosphere is what it is, and the whole experience of going to the game at Penn State, and why we play Zombie Nation, the song, and why we do specific things. And he was talking about how they track. Sorry, where are we going? They track the fans.
There we go.
They track the fans, man. Did you know the fans are studied for each song, how they react to it, so they know when to play, when to do all that. It's great stuff. Check my channel out, shameless plug, at Behind the Wall with Landon Tangwall. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the Goon and Ironhead show.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing and State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union.